Like many boys from middle-class families, Lin also has a dream. He wants to become very rich one day. He imagines owning his own car, a big house, and so much money that counting it would feel pointless. But real life is rarely as perfect as dreams. Lin works as a game designer. One day, he comes up with an idea for a scary horror game. To make this game, he needs about 100 million yuan. He shows a demo of the game to 2 investors, but they say the story is weak and not interesting enough. Because of this, they refuse to invest any money. Feeling disappointed, Lin goes back home. As soon as he arrives, his mother, Miss Cao, starts scolding him. That day is his father's death anniversary. But Lin did not attend the prayer because he was busy working on his game. Cao also finds out that Lin has taken a large loan that he still hasn't repaid. Angry and worried, she hits him with a broom and tells him to stop wasting his life on games and find a proper job. But Lin wants to succeed as a game designer. While this is happening, a treasure show is playing on TV. The host shows a rare kettle and says that only 2 such kettles exist in the world. Each one is worth 200 million yuan, but one of them has been missing for years. Lin notices that the kettle in his house looks exactly like the one on TV. He feels hopeful and thinks selling it could make him rich. But Cao laughs and says no one would even buy it for 200 million yuan. Later, the show explains that the real value of the kettle lies in its lid. Without the lid, the kettle is worthless. Lin asks his mother where the lid is. She says she doesn't know, and that the kettle has been lying around like a useless showpiece for years. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Lin realizes that loan recovery agents have come. He tries to run away. Cao opens the door and lies, saying Lin is not at home. But the men see Lin trying to escape. To protect her son, Cao stands up to them. Lin turns back and sees the men beating his mother. He runs toward her, but suddenly a car appears in front of him. A bright light flashes and Lin closes his eyes. When he opens them, he finds himself in a strange place, standing in the middle of a road he doesn't recognize. As he looks around, he sees a TV shop, but all the TVs are old models. The shops, people's clothes, bicycles, and cars all look like they are from an earlier time. Soon, Lin meets a man named Niu, who is involved in criminal activities with his gang. Lin follows them into an alley. From a rooftop, he sees Niu demanding money from a kung fu master. Instead of giving in, the master starts fighting back. While watching, Lin leans too far forward and falls down. The kung fu master defeats Niu and his men and drives them away. As Niu leaves, he shouts, "Cao, I won't spare you." Hearing this, Lin is shocked. He asks Cao what year it is. She replies, 1998. Lin realizes he has traveled back in time, and the young woman standing in front of him is his mother. Lin calls her mom, but Cao immediately twists his arm using kung fu because she isn't married yet and can't possibly have a son. Lin quickly says he is her distant cousin and starts naming relatives. When he mentions his father Dongji's name, Cao becomes shy and lets go of his arm. She actually likes Dongji but has never told him. Cao offers to take Lin to Dongji's clinic to treat his hand. Since Lin has never seen his father before, he mistakes another man for Dongji. Cao laughs and tells him he's wrong. Just then, the real Dongji comes down the stairs and almost slips. Cao runs and catches him in time. This is the first time Lin sees his father. Dongji quickly fixes Lin's hand, and Cao praises him. Lin feels amazed and enjoys this strange but special moment. Soon after, a girl named Unji arrives with her pet dog. Lin notices she is very close to Dongji. When he asks Cao about her, Cao says they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Lin is shocked because Dongji is supposed to end up with Cao. Later, Unji invites both of them for lunch and brings many homemade dishes. Cao feels jealous and says the food looks tasteless. But once she starts eating, she can't stop. The food is so good that she eats until she is completely full. After that, Cao went back home. Lin began to worry deeply. He thought to himself, I must bring Cao and Dongji together no matter what. If they don't end up together, I might never be born, and my existence will disappear. At the same time, he also needed to find the ancient kettle. So Lin told Cao, I can see the future. He gently looked at her palm and said, you will marry Dongji, and you will have a handsome son. Hearing this made Cao very happy and hopeful. Lin then insisted on staying at Cao's house because he believed the kettle would be there. At first, Cao refused, but Lin said, I'll help you win Dongji's heart, and I don't have anywhere else to go. After hearing this, Cao finally agreed to let him stay. Late at night, when Cao was sleeping deeply and snoring, Lin quietly started searching the house for the ancient kettle. He noticed a spot with a sign that said, do not touch. Lin felt sure that something valuable must be hidden there. But instead of the kettle, he found a locked briefcase. He tried a simple number code from 1 to 6, and the briefcase opened. Laughing, Lin said, my mother is really simple. Who uses such an easy password? Inside the briefcase, he found a book. Just then, Cao woke up and caught him. That book actually contained secret kung fu techniques, which is why Sao kept it hidden and safe. But she thought Lin was trying to steal, so she began checking his pockets. She found Lin's mobile phone. Thinking it was a mirror, she threw it away, and the screen broke. Lin quickly said, "You just broke a very expensive camera. Now you'll have to pay for it." Sao didn't believe him at first. Then Lin quickly took a selfie of the two of them. Seeing her picture appear, Sao got scared. She didn't have enough money to pay for the damage. Lin smiled and said, "Don't worry, just let me stay here." The next morning, Lin saw Sao sitting and calculating her monthly expenses. In reality, her kung fu school wasn't getting any new students, and she was struggling with money. Lin said confidently, "As long as I'm here, you don't need to worry about this." Then he shared a new business idea with her. Until now, Sao had only been teaching kung fu to children, but kids were more interested in sports like judo and karate. So Lin suggested, "Let's focus on rich and elderly people. They care more about their health. Instead of kung fu, we'll teach them dance. Dancing is also a good exercise." Lin announced this idea throughout the neighborhood using a loudspeaker, saying that free eggs would be given at Sao's kung fu school. Hearing this, a large crowd gathered quickly. Sao explained the importance of staying healthy and convinced many people to join. Soon they started earning good money. However, instead of teaching dance, Sao began teaching kung fu to the elderly. She trained them very strictly, just like young students. Lin took her aside and explained that such hard training was too difficult for old people. Just then, one elderly man collapsed from exhaustion. Dongji was called to treat him. After checking, Dongji said, "He's fine. He just needs some rest." But the elderly man became angry and shouted, "Give me my money back." Others also started shouting the same thing. Sao calmly handled the situation. She told everyone, "You will all get your money back." She also promised that if any of them ever fell sick, Dongji would treat them for free. Hearing this, everyone slowly calmed down and left. Meanwhile, Sao went back home feeling very sad. That night, Lin saw her sitting quietly, lost in her thoughts. The money from the kung fu fees was gone, and even the money spent on buying eggs had been wasted. Trying to cheer her up, Lin showed her a picture of the ancient kettle on his phone and said, "This kettle is worth 200 million yuan. I think it can be found in an antique shop. Please help me look for it." From the next day onward, Lin and Sao started performing puppet shows in different places. On the surface, they were entertaining people, but their real goal was to search for the kettle. People enjoyed their shows and gave them money, and slowly Sao started earning well again. One day, Lin brought bad news. He told Sao that New had also started performing shows and was charging very little money. "Now people won't come to watch our show," Lin said. Hearing this, Sao got angry and went out to confront New. After some time, Lin reached there, calmed her down, and brought her back home. On the other side, Niu went to meet his boss, Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang was a dangerous man who collected rare antique items. He controlled the area through fear and violence, using Niu to do his dirty work. One part of the ancient kettle was already with Mr. Wang, and he had ordered Niu to find the second one. But because of Lin and Sao, the search was getting delayed. Mr. Wang warned Niu, "I don't want excuses. Find the kettle at any cost, or you'll be punished." One day while walking on the street, Lin noticed a betting shop. He suddenly remembered that France had won the 1998 World Cup. Without thinking much, he put all his money on France. The shopkeeper was shocked because everyone believed Brazil would win. Lin took the betting ticket and stepped outside. At that moment, he ran into Niu. When Niu saw France written on the ticket, he laughed loudly. Lin warned him, "Give that ticket back, or I'll call Sao and get you beaten badly." Angry, Niu tore the ticket into pieces. Lin was heartbroken. He had no money left to place another bet. Niu kept shouting, "Brazil! Brazil!" But when the final match happened, France won. Niu was completely shocked. He immediately went to Lin, kissed his hand and said, "Teach me how to predict results. You're amazing." Lin agreed, but on one condition, that Niu would work as his assistant. Niu accepted without arguing, and even started treating Sao as his boss. From that day on, Niu changed his life. Every morning he sold newspapers and milk, and also helped Sao with household work. Slowly he became a better person. Later, Sao got a part-time job making shoe soles. Lin and Niu both helped her. One day, Niu made a small heart symbol on one sole because he had started liking Sao. Lin noticed this and got worried, but Sao felt happy because for the first time someone cared for her. Lin thought to himself, "This cannot continue. Sao must end up with Dongji." So he told Sao, "Your style is very old-fashioned. That's why Dongji doesn't notice you. You need to change and look modern." The next day, Lin took Sao shopping. He helped her try new clothes, and finally one dress looked perfect on her. Then he took her to a salon and got her a new hairstyle. After that, they sat together in a shop and talked. Lin said sadly, "My mother scolds me a lot. She never understands me." Hearing this, Sao replied angrily, "That's not true. I'm sure she scolds you only because she cares about you. Later, Lin sent Sao to Dongji's clinic and went back to searching for the kettle himself. After some time, he saw Dongji riding a bicycle. A girl was sitting behind him, wearing the same dress Sao had worn. Lin thought Sao finally succeeded. But then Sao arrived and said, "You fool, that's not me. That's Jeannie." They were both wearing the same dress. Then Jeannie said calmly, "Dongji and I have decided to get married." Hearing this, both Lin and Sao were shocked. Sao gathered her strength, congratulated them politely, and then quietly walked away, hiding her broken heart. Meanwhile, Lin noticed that Dongji was holding the same ancient kettle. Dongji had actually bought it from a shop without knowing its true value. At the same time, while walking back home, Sao saw Mr. Wang's men beating up Niu. Without thinking twice, Sao rushed in and started fighting them. Just then, a man who was passing by stopped to watch. He was impressed by Sao's strong fighting skills. He gave her his visiting card and said, "I am a film director from Hong Kong. If you want, you can work in my movie." Sao did not trust him at all. She tore the card into pieces and walked away. That night, Lin secretly went into Dongji's clinic. He planned to steal the kettle. But before he could do anything, Dongji and Jinny arrived. To avoid suspicion, Lin made up a story. He said, "My grandfather had a kettle just like this. He used to make tea for me in it. This kettle reminds me of him." Jinny felt emotional and said, "If you like it so much, you can take it." Lin was overjoyed and took the kettle home. When Niu saw the kettle, he became nervous. He said, "I've seen the exact same kettle with Mr. Wang. He is looking for the second one." Lin asked Niu about Wang. Niu warned him, "Wang can do anything to collect ancient items. He is a very dangerous man." Lin realized the risk and said, "Then we must hide this kettle somewhere safe." He hid it in the same place where Sao kept her briefcase. Lin also told Niu, "If something happens to me or I disappear, give this kettle to Sao." Later, the same director came again to meet Sao. This time, Sao listened to him properly. He gave her his visiting card again and left. When Lin came back, he asked who the man was. Sao replied, "He offered me work as a stunt performer. I've decided that I'll go to Hong Kong tomorrow." Lin was shocked and said, "How can you leave so suddenly?" But Sao had already made up her mind. Since Dongji was getting married, she felt there was no reason for her to stay anymore. Lin felt completely hopeless. He thought, if Sao goes to Hong Kong and never comes back, she and Dongji will never be together, and I will disappear from this world. Still, Lin did not give up. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind. At that moment, his mobile phone slipped out of his pocket and someone picked it up without him noticing. Later, Lin invited Sao, Dongji, and Jinny to a hotel, saying he wanted to celebrate. He said, "First we'll celebrate Sao's new job, then we'll celebrate Dongji and Jinny's wedding." He started giving them drinks. His real plan was to make everyone drunk and unconscious. Then he wanted to lock Sao and Dongji in one room so that Jinny would misunderstand the situation and break off the marriage. As planned, Dongji and Jinny drank and soon passed out, but Sao kept drinking without stopping. She finished many bottles and asked for more. Lin went to get another bottle, but suddenly he was kidnapped. Sao saw men taking him away. In truth, Mr. Wang had ordered Lin's kidnapping. Wang questioned Lin and demanded to know where the kettle was hidden. Lin firmly said, "I don't know anything about any kettle." Then Wang showed him a photo of the kettle on Lin's mobile phone. One of Wang's men had found the phone on the street. Lin asked in shock, "How did you unlock my phone?" Wang laughed and said, "The password was very easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just like your mother." Just then, Sao arrived at the place. Lin felt relieved, thinking she would fight the goons and save him. But Sao was still drunk. The goons tied her up as well. Wang placed a knife on Sao's neck and threatened Lin, "Bring the kettle within 1 hour, or you'll never see her alive again." Lin somehow escaped and reached home. He took out the hidden kettle and gave it to Wang's men. They knocked Lin unconscious and took the kettle away. After checking it, they confirmed that it was real. By that time, Sao's drunkenness had faded. She confronted Wang and said, "You forced people to give you money illegally, and now you've stolen Lin's kettle too. If you don't return it, you will be punished." This made Wang furious. He ordered his men to attack Sao. Sao fought back bravely. During the fight, the lid of the kettle slipped from Wang's hand and rolled under a table. While he bent down to pick it up, Sao managed to free her hands and started beating the goons. She fought so powerfully that no one could stop her. During the chaos, a petrol tank fell and touched an electric wire, starting a fire. The whole place caught fire and began to burn. Wang ran outside to save himself. Sao jumped after him and grabbed him, trying to take back the kettle. In the end, Wang pushed Sao back into the burning building and escaped. Meanwhile, Lin regained consciousness and ran back inside with all his strength. The building was on fire. Flames were everywhere, but he didn't care at all. He saw Sao lying on the ground, unconscious and struggling to breathe. Lin quickly lifted her onto his shoulder and carried her outside. Crying loudly, he said, If I hadn't become obsessed with that kettle, this would never have happened to you." He hugged her tightly and broke down in tears. At that moment, Sal slowly opened her eyes. She showed Lynn that she had managed to bring the kettle's lid with her. It was broken into 2 pieces, but Lynn didn't feel sad at all. He said with relief, "My mother is alive. That is the greatest happiness for me." A few days later, Sal was getting ready to leave for Hong Kong. She was saying goodbye to everyone. She told Lynn, "The police recovered the kettle from Wong and returned it to me. I've kept it safe. You can take it with you when you leave." Lynn replied with a heavy heart, "Maybe we will never meet again. You should keep the kettle with you." Sal hugged him tightly and said goodbye with love. She also said farewell to Dongji and Ginny. Ginny said kindly, "Please tell us once you reach Hong Kong and take good care of yourself." But Lin was deeply worried. He thought, if Sal goes to Hong Kong, how will I ever be born? My future existence will disappear. As soon as this thought came to his mind, everything around him started changing. Slowly, the place became empty. Sal's house now had a rusty lock hanging on it. Lin rushed to Dongji's clinic, but that was locked too. Then a woman told him that Dongji had taken Jeannie to the city hospital because it was time for her delivery. Lin picked up a newspaper and saw the year, 1999. He realized he had traveled 1 year into the future. He immediately ran toward the city. In reality, the day Lin was born was the same day his father died in an accident. Outside the hospital, there was a huge traffic jam. People were saying that a man had died, but his pregnant wife had survived. Lin tried desperately to run toward the scene, but he suddenly realized he couldn't touch anything. He had become invisible. Meanwhile, Ginny was being taken into an ambulance. She spoke weakly to Sao and said, "I may not survive this operation. If I give birth to a son, name him Lin. Please raise him as your own. Never tell him that I died. Tell him that you are his real mother." Lin saw all of this with his own eyes. After that, Sao raised Lin as her own child. She sold her house and moved to the city. She started working as a stunt woman in films and often took Lin with her to shoots. One day, during a shooting scene with an explosion, Lin wandered into the dangerous area while playing. Sao saw him and ran to save him. During this, an iron rod pierced her leg. She was badly injured and could never work in films again. Even then, she had no regret. She hugged Lin and cried, thankful that he was safe. From that day on, Sao started doing small and difficult jobs like cleaning toilets and collecting garbage. Lin felt ashamed and angry about this. He didn't talk to her properly and often ignored her. But now, after seeing everything, Lin finally understood how much Sao had sacrificed for him. She gave up her dreams, her career, and even marriage just to raise him. Suddenly, Lin returned to the present. He found himself lying on a hospital bed. Sao was sitting beside him, holding his hand. Ever since the accident, she had never left his side. Lin gently held his mother's hand, filled with emotion. A few months later, Lin went to meet the investors again with a new game idea. This time, the main theme of the game was Mother. The game showed the true meaning and depth of a mother's love. Lin dedicated this game to his mother, Sao. The investors were deeply touched by the idea and agreed to invest in the game. Finally, Lin's dream was about to come true. And with this emotional moment, the story of the film comes to an end. So friends, how did you like the story? Please tell us in the comments. We'll meet again soon with another video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.
अब आओ ना फिर से मिल जाओ ना फिर से जलाओ ना मुझे मिटाओ ना यूं दिल से अब आओ ना फिर से मिल जाओ ना फिर से जलाओ ना मुझे मिटाओ ना यूं दिल से कोई प्यार ना दे यूं जैसे मुझको चाहती है तू ज़माने के जैसी न बन मेरे यार जैसी है तू ज़माना जलाता मुझे लगाती गले फिर से तू मैं गिर के उठा हूँ अभी हर चीज सिखाती है तू मैं लिख आया कहानी अपनी जो बीती जिंदगानी अपनी जो खोया मैंने है वो खोया मैं रात जाग के हूँ रोया मैं लिख आया कहानी अपनी जो बीती जिंदगानी अपनी जो खोया मैंने है वो खोया मैं रात जाग के हूँ रोया 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 मेरी रह गई। तुझसे मिलूं मैं कभी, तुझको मैं प्यार दूं और बेशुमार दूं। दिल तो जला है बहुत, इसकी सजा है बहुत, फिर भी तेरा ही रहा, मेरी नहीं मानता। जितना भी चाहूं तुम्हें, मिलना है दर्द मुझे। होता है क्या इस तरह कोई भी इश्क यहाँ, तुम जो मेरी ना बनी, किसको बताता फिरूं ये दाग दिल अपना, किसको दिखाता फिरूं। वक्त बदलता है सबका, तुझको तो इसका पता था, फिर मुंह क्यों मोड़ गई थी, मुझको यूं छोड़ गई थी। साथ निभाना था मैंने, दिल भी जलाना था मैंने, फिर क्यों मेरी ना बनी थी और ये सजा बन गई थी। जिसको मैं जीता रहा था, ये दर्द पीता रहा था। ऐसी निशानी है तू, ऐसी कहानी है तू। मैं लिख आया कहानी अपनी, जो बीती जिंदगानी अपनी, जो खोया मैंने है वो खोया मैं रात जाग के रोया। मैं लिख आया कहानी अपनी, जो बीती जिंदगानी अपनी, जो खोया मैंने है वो खोया मैं रात जाग के रोया रोया रोया। अब इसके पार है तेरा मेरा ठिकाना, अब इसके पार है तेरा मेरा ठिकाना, अब इसके पार है फिर तुझसे दिल लगाना, अब इसके पार है।